Alright, so, going to be doing another review from a comic sent to me by my good friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And we're going to be talking about Captain America, Symbol of Truth, Volume 1. So this was the sister book to Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanning's other book, Sentinel of Liberty, that focused on Steve Rogers. Basically, these books were meant to be like a short-lived run between that Kelly and Lansing were writing together to lead to a Captain America-centric event called Cold War. Now, I really liked Sentinel of Liberty, which focused on Steve Rogers, basically, like, kind of building his own life and trying to have it, which eventually led to him encountering a group called the Inner Circle, and it led to Bucky betraying him. Here we follow Sam's story as Captain America. And his story is a lot more globetrotting. It's a lot more of the superhero kind of feel, whereas Steve's book is more like espionage and whatnot. Here it's like, Sam's going on like a globetrotting kind of mission across the Starways in order to to find out what's going on with his whole thing. Basically, if you guys don't remember, there's also Joaquin, who's the new Falcon, who works with Sam. So Sam and Joaquin discover a train that's supposed to be smuggling a super soldier serum, and what they discover is that it's full of they're smuggling immigrants, and one of them being Joaquin's cousin. And essentially what happens is that Sam is led into discovering that it's not just super soldier serum, it's vibranium that is being smuggled in the U.S., and the person behind it is White Wolf, a Black Panther villain who wants to tear down whole countries, and he's employed Crossbones' help in order to do that. Meanwhile, while this is going on, there's also the underlying current of what is known as the Wakanda Forever movement, which is a African American movement here in America that people want to immigrate to Wakanda in order to have a better life. Now, having read this actually ties in with some of the stuff from the from the previous Black Panther book from before Evie Wing took over. Chris sent me the first volume of that book, so stay tuned for that review whenever I get to it. But yeah. So in here, like I said, this is more like Sam Wilson's book is more of while it does have a lot of the spy and intrigue stuff, it's more of the superhero globetrotting kind of fun that you were expecting from the other book, from the other books. One of the major aspects of this comic is that it has Sam, starting in the U.S.-Mexican border. He ends up in Latveria, teaming up with Deadpool, and his quest leads him straight to Wakanda. So it's kind of fun. I will say that, and this is something that I feel like Marvel's been doing lately, and I've talked about it in the Black Panther books, where initially Black Panther was meant, the Black Panther books and Wakanda itself were always meant to be like this great utopia of African society. But recently Marvel, and I feel like they've been doing this since the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, is that they've really gone out of their way. Actually, no, I'd say even before Ta-Nehisi Coates run, I would say they've been doing this since Doom War back in, but they've basically been saying oh no, Wakanda's just as has its own share of corruption and political gaffes as much as the next guy, so it's not a perfect nation. I'm like, that you've missed the point of Wakanda. You have literally missed the point of Wakanda in these books, and it's very mean. There's something very mean-spirited in here that really just rubbed me the wrong way, and that basically is that Sam goes to basically calls Shuri, because remember, now T'Challa isn't the king of Wakanda anymore, and Shuri is now an advisor to the Prime Minister Fulasade, and Wakanda's become more of a democracy than a theocracy. So basically, Sam calls them and says, "Hey, well, there's vibranium getting smuggled out of Wakanda, and I would like to personally go with your permission to help in a joint Wakandan U.S. investigation of the matter, And for no reason at all, Suri is just immediately like standoffish and aggressive about it at the idea of working with Sam Wilson. And Sam himself is has his own reservations about Wakanda, which we find out later. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so basically what happens is that Sam goes by himself in order to figure out what's going on. He runs into T'Challa, they get into a fight, and out of nowhere, just out of pure spite towards Sam, the Wakandan Forever movement is immediately killed by Suri and the Wakandan government because of Sam going into the country alone. And she immediately goes, no African American from America will be allowed in Wakanda ever, or they'll be shot dead. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's way too hard. Even T'Challa was like, yeah, no, that was a little fucked up on my sister's side. And I'm like, where is this unnecessary? It feels like it really does feel like this that kind of level of aggression really felt kind of forced, and was more like to get, you know, the African American community mad at Sam for this story. Now, keep in mind, I still want to read more of this book as well as Sentinel of Liberty, but I was reading this and going, Jesus, where is all this like hate and aggression from? Why has Marvel been perpetuating this whole thing of like Wakanda being a almost like neo-fascist state at some point? I'm like, that's not the point of Wakanda. That was never meant to be the point of Wakanda. But yeah, I also like the subplot story involving Joaquin and his cousin being, you know, protecting them from Crossbones. I like that as well. Thought that was a pretty good subplot. But yeah, this book despite my misgiving, you know, the whole thing about Wakanda, I still think this is a pretty decent book. It's a really good start. Seeing, you know, Sam and Deadpool team up. There's also, like, they build up in issue 3, is like, behold the, you know, the law of Doctor Doom, and it's only like 2 pages, and Doom's just like, you can go. I'm like, well, that was kind of overhyped. But yeah, pretty solid. It's a pretty solid story, and I really hope Chris sends me the other next few volumes of this, as well as the Captain America event, Cold War, which it builds into. So yeah, all in all, pretty decent book. I recommend it. So, yeah. So, Chris, thank you once again for the book. Other than that, you guys tell me in the comments below if you've read Captain America, Captain America's Symbol of Truth. Let me know in the comments below. Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.